Tim, what all instruments do you play?
Well, a few. I'm not really very good at any of them. Mainly I play guitar. I started playing the banjo when I was about, I guess, 13 or 14.
Everybody's a banjo player.
Everybody is a banjo player, and it's good. I've even said that the school systems around the country should make banjo a class, because I think you can deal with your whole life.
It should be mandatory.
It should be mandatory to play banjo in school. I think kids, really, I do. I really think that they should, because it's something about a banjo that once they start playing it, it's something that they can expand their mind with just the instrument itself. I mean, it's a great thing. Later, I took up the guitar when I started the Lonesome River Band in '82. There were so many great banjo players around, and I was like a mediocre banjo player. So I wanted to play guitar and that type thing. But I play a little bass.
Okay.
That's about all.
You bring up the Lonesome River Band. How did you start? How did you come about to start that group?
Well, you know, I knew you, Jack, before that. You were hanging out with the Bluegrass Cardinals, who are from this area.
Well, I was up in Northern Virginia, Fairfax
Well,
County,
yeah. Well, they moved. They were from there too, didn't they?
Yeah, they
down
moved
this
into
way.
there from California.
Right, right. When I started playing in local things around, you know, my area, actually I started coming to Roanoke on Wednesday nights, because there was a place in Roanoke called Howard's Soup Kitchen, and that was a very big venue for bluegrass during the 70s and maybe mid-80s, I think that was going on, and everybody played there. I mean, I got to see, like he said, J.D. Crowe for one of the first times in my life, saw them there, and Claire Lynch, and a lot of the touring acts were there. I knew that when I got out of high school, I wanted to play music full-time. That was my burning desire, is to play music. And when I started coming to Roanoke, that's where I met a lot of players, because this area is full of pickers and singers. And in 1982, we actually started the band, the Lonesome River Band.
Who were the original members?
Well, Jerry McMillan from Salem, Virginia, who now still lives in that area, played the bass. He was my partner for many years. I think even Dan, when he came, Jerry was still in the band. Steve Thomas, who is living in Nashville now, and he's played with, gosh, he left the Lonesome River Band and played with Del McCurry, and then Jim and Jesse, and the Osborne brothers.
Yeah, when he was playing country music, I know he played with Brooks and Dunn. And
Brooks and Dunn, and Dolly, not Dolly, but
Barbara Mandrell.
Barbara Mandrell. That's who I was trying to think of. I don't know how I got those confused, but
Blonde hair.
exactly. And they're both from Nashville.
There you go.
Yeah, Barbara has a photo mat or something, doesn't she? But anyway, let's see. There was Jerry, and then there was Steve, and myself, and a banjo player, Rick Williams. Rick Williams.
Yeah.
And he still lives in the county.
No, Rick well.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Good little guy.
Yes, he is. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. We've been through a lot together, starting music and all. But they fell by the wayside, as bands do. You know, it's tough to play music full time, but it's also something that you really got to want to do. You know, when families start coming in, you start having your priorities change a little bit. You know, but about '82 was that was that first band. Yeah.
Well, I want to congratulate you and thank you for starting that group, because through the years that band has really put out some wonderful bluegrass sounds.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We've been real fortunate and real blessed to be able for the band to still be continuing on and winning awards and putting out top quality records, and it's been a great thing to see that even to continue.
All right, now, Dan, back to you. You've had a burning desire, I guess, for some time to have your own solo album, I guess.
Boy, I wouldn't call it a burning desire. More like heartburn. No, I've thought about it, you know, for a long time. Myself, I've never been what I would call a solo solo artist or a solo act. My favorite band setting is to back up a singer. Hopefully, preferably someone else singing. I love to sing harmonies, and I love to play in a group situation. The solo record is just something that I guess I've always kind of had on a back burner and thought about that something I would like to do. I thought if I was ever lucky enough to get some good songs and enough spare time to do one, I thought it would be fun just to get to invite people that I admire as musicians to come and play and to kind of do things in the way I would like to do them. And it's been really neat. We've started the record, and I'm recording it with Tim, and we have about 8 songs down now, and some good guests on the record so far. There'll be, well, of course, myself. Who else do we have? We have Tony Rice is on the record. Barry Bales is playing bass. I have Jim Mills, banjo player extraordinaire from North Carolina. I'll have Ron Block. I'll have Allison on there, hopefully singing some with me, and all of Union Station that I'm with. Ronnie Bowman is going to be singing a song with me on there. It's my hopes to get my brother down from New Hampshire to sing a song with me on there. I have a duet I'd like to do with him. Just a bunch of people. So it's been a fun endeavor.
Are all the songs yours, or where'd the music come from?
No, they're not. I have a lot of original material on there that I've been really lucky to find. Ronnie Bowman has written some songs. I co-wrote a song with Ronnie. I wrote an instrumental for it. I've done some traditional standards. I've done a couple of standards, and just from all over. It'll be mostly new material, and I'm so far. I don't want to jinx it ahead of time, but I'm extremely happy with it. It's gone really well.
When might this be available to the public?
Oh gosh, no telling.
It'll probably be.
I look at my
in a few months.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah. I hope to. It's my hopes and both of our hopes to have it out by summertime. So
What are you
we're
going to
shoot
call
for
it?
Summer.
What's the title?
Can't say.
Can't say or don't know?
No. Well, I can't say because I'm not absolutely 100%
Okay.
100% sure of it. But when we decide, I'll come back and we'll do another show and I'll tell everybody the name of it so they'll know what to look for.
You mentioned Ronnie Bowman, a good singer.
Awesome singer. Yeah.
I had talked to him about coming on the show, but apparently he's a pretty busy young man, and so we
Right
have
now,
not
he
made
is
the connection for him to appear on Around and
He is
About.
He'll show up.
He might walk in any second. It's. I wish I'd have brought him with me. We could have sung some songs. Ronnie.
Yeah,
Where are
tell
you?
him.
Hey.
Now, although Dan has appeared with all these big stars out of Nashville and is currently performing with Alison Krauss around the country, he told me just a moment ago that his resume is now complete since he has now appeared with Jack Davis on Around and About. I want to be the first to congratulate you, Dan.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very
Tim.
much.
Thank you.
Well, I was about to say you're watching Around and About here on Cable 12, your neighborhood network in Franklin County, and so I've kind of said it twice. Now it's time for us to get to that chuckle and groaner session.
Oh, well.
And again, for all you who are parents, you might like this. We hope it brings a smile to your face, brings back a memory, and so let's go with them. So these beginning are some great things about kids. You can make a toddler laugh uproariously by simply sticking out your tongue. Isn't that amazing? We're all stars with kids just by doing that sort of thing.
That is absolutely true.
Kids don't take any makeup. They don't need it. Young kids make sure you don't sleep away the whole morning. Can
This
you
is
guys
very
attest
true.
to that? A great audience for knock-knock jokes, aren't they?
Yes.
Kids eat free at the hotel buffet,
That is a very good point. That's true.
and they never complain about getting older. All right, now here are some simple pleasures for kids. Turning a light switch on and off.
That
Yes.
is a big one.
Standing on daddy's feet to dance. Licking the batter out of a bowl. You can remember doing
do
that.
that
I still
now.
do. Yeah, I know. I still do that.
My wife's always kidding me that she's going to turn the beaters on. I'm doing.
I finally
Oh,
got a bowl big enough to fit my head in. So
Can't we all remember that though?
definitely.
Absolutely.
The mashed potatoes
Yeah.
and
Cakes
just everything.
Yep.
Some simple pleasures for kids. Putting lightning bugs in a jar
Oh, yeah.
and playing with pots and pans.
Definitely.
Now let me tell you, I used to buy expensive gifts for our two sons, and what did they play with? Pots and pans.
The box
The
that it
box
came
that
in.
it
Do
came
they
in.
still do it?
Yeah.
That's it. Boy, it doesn't matter what I get the kids. No matter how grand the present is inside that box, the present comes out and they're crawling in the box, or it's on their head, or that's.
Kids never change, and they keep us all kind of kids at heart, don't they?
Definitely.
We get to enjoy youth vicariously through them.
Yep.
That is for sure. Yes.
Now, just three more little things on this first segment of Chuckles and Groaners. Again, back to great things about kids. Baby powder smells great. For the next 10 years or so, you'll get to indulge your secret lust for fast food. Good excuse. And a puddle in the driveway is entertainment.
Of course.
Oh boy, we can all remember
I
that.
know
one.
it is for me.
We hope that you parents in our audience had some memories stirred up about your children, and we're going to have some more of those along towards the end of the show. I heard through the grapevine that you're a great husband, a great father, and a good family man. Any comments about that?
Boy, you said it just like I wrote it down. I appreciate it. Oh, no, I don't know who you get your information from, but I enjoy being a husband and a father, very much so. That is I think as any parents, can attest to, once you have kids, they're the new priority in your life, and things change, and I was scared before it happened, like, what are they going to change into? I've been so happy. I have three of the sweetest kids and the most wonderful wife you could just ever ask for.
Great. Tim, how many kids do you have?
I have two, a boy and a girl, Rebecca and Seth. They're 8 and 13.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Teenager.
man,
You don't have a phone bill, do you?
I don't even know. I mean, at the house, I never even answer the phone anymore because it only rings a half a ring before it's
Wow.
answered,
Yeah, usually
But,
if I'm there and I pick it up, I go, Rebecca's house.
Yeah.
I can hear laughter into the studio. I think it's Steve Oakes in there laughing because he has two daughters.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
talked a
man.
little bit earlier, Tim, about awards.
Mm-hmm.
I know through the years, Lonesome River Band did quite well. Talk
Mm-hmm.
about awards for the group.
See, Dan might have to remind me of the year, but 1992 maybe. We won the International Bluegrass Music Association's Album of the Year with a project called Carrying the Tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a very exciting time for us. It was actually during a point in a band's career whether they're going to continue or fall apart. I mean, it
That's
was
exactly right.
it was
that was a pivotal moment.
It
there.
was. It was I think the band practically fell apart because of the band really wasn't very popular until that record. We were popular, but not mainstream.
Not on a national level.
Yeah. And then that record came out, and it just took the bluegrass
It
industry.
really hit the country.
It hit the country. That was a big record.
As Bill Monroe would say.
Yeah. But it did real well for us, and it was an exciting time for us to have that record come out, mainly because we actually recorded and produced the album ourselves. It was done right there in band, in-house kind of thing, and we actually had full control over it. And we have had full control since, I guess, 87 or 88. We started recording our own albums there at the studio. But let's see, Ronnie later won the Album of the Year with his Cold Virginia Night album.
He sure did. And male vocalist of the year.
Yeah.
And well, he just came home again. Ronnie Bowman, who's now the lead singer with the band, they won Best Overall Band,
Mm-hmm.
and they won, Ronnie won Contemporary Male Vocalist of the Year. Don Rigsby won Traditional Male Vocalist of the Year. So within the band now, they're doing just so well. That's great.
It's amazing, though, because we would I remember when the days riding in a van and just going from one city to the next overnight and being so wore out.
Sleeping on your guitar case.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, and it's still that way with bands. I mean, they continually travel.
It's a glorious life.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sure everyone would want to do that. But as far as awards go, the record company, we put out the Stanley Tradition.
There you go.
And that was a project that I've always wanted to do. The Stanley Brothers and Stanley Music was very influential with me, and I know it is with John, your son.
Absolutely.
I mean, John really...
he was into Ralph and Carter.
Yes, I mean, and he really taught me a lot, during the time that I knew him in that era, but about the Stanley Music. But anyway, we did that record in a year, I guess the year before last. It got nominated for the Grammy Award. And we actually went down to New York. It was on the East Coast that year, and we didn't win, but we were nominated as one of the top 5 records in the world in the bluegrass category for that record, and that was a pretty good thing for our business.
I have to ask you, did you wear clean socks for that show?
I did. I wore clean socks and boots.
Oh wow!
Leather footwear. Wow.
Dan, any awards coming Allison's way since you've been with her?
Oh gosh, yeah. There's been several. She's real popular at the Grammys. I think it's about a dozen Grammys she's won now. With the band, I'm trying to think of how it goes. I've been involved in 4 of them. I've won 4. We won a CMA. The Country Music Association's Song of the Year for 1995. I think it was 95 for When You Say Nothing at All, the Keith Whitley remake of that song. And that was an exciting time for us. We went just to enjoy the show. We really had no idea that was going to happen. And as it turned out, we cleaned house that night. We won the Song of the Year, and Allison won Female Vocalist of the Year. And this is, in a style of music a little bit outside of what she really focuses on, so it was really neat to be acknowledged in that way. And we've received more than we deserve. Absolutely.
I suspect many more are set to come your way through the years too.
Never know. Cross that bridge when we
Let's
come to
hope.
it.
Yeah. What's your biggest memory of music, Tim? Do you have one? Something stand out?
Well, the biggest memory, I guess, was one of them, I guess, was actually making a living the first year and not going in the hole.
What a memory. Huh?
I'll tell you, boy, the first year I actually got close to paying taxes on them. No, one of my big memories of my musical career actually was when Dan came to work with us in 1980 something, 87. I was at that point. I'd been through so many different band members at that time.
I really need to tell this story because it's really it's actually really funny. When I found out there was an opening in the band, I called Tim and I said, I understand you're looking for someone, and he said, well, yeah. And I said, well, boy, I'd sure like to try out for the job, hopefully come and play with you. And he said, well, now you're going to have another job because right now we're just not making enough money, so you'll definitely have to have another job and work that, and we'll play when we can. And I said, no problem, I'll take it. He said, well, you'll have to move down here, and there's just no way you can live in Vermont and play in this band. I said, okay, I'll take it. He said, boy, he says, we only have about 3 or 4 jobs for this next year. We're playing maybe once a month. And I said, okay, I'll take it. he essentially made me an offer that I couldn't refuse.
Things have been great for you, hadn't they?
Oh.
Yeah.
I think it was meant to be that he came and our lives touched at that point because we've been through so much together.
We sure have.
We recorded a lot of music together and it's really been a great experience.
Had you heard of Dan before?
Actually, the week before he called us, we had played in Adirondacks up in New York, and they opened for us, his band, Green Mountain, and that was one of them days that I was real tired, and I didn't see his show because I slept right up 15 minutes before our set, you know, and I'll never forget, a week later I was calling around musician friends, and I said, we need a tenor singer, you know, we really need somebody that can do the job. And this guy, Kevin Church, who was with the Country Gentleman at that time, he says, Dan Tominski said, you just saw him last Saturday. And I said, I did? So anyway, that's how that meeting came about, actually.
Wonderful.
It's funny how things work out.
Do you have a big memory at this point?
A big memory at this point, oh gosh. Well, it would, I guess my big memory would, I've had several big memories, so it's hard to narrow it down, but I would have to go back to the Lonesome River Band. When I first went with the band, a couple of big memories. I think my first big memory was, at that time I'd played, like I said, for the previous 5 years with my brother, but we never did, you know, really big shows. And I remember one of the first shows that I did at the Lonesome River Band, we had a show in Tulsa, Oklahoma, at the Chili Festival.
Right downtown.
Chili
It's a big event. I mean,
It was a hot show, right?
It was a hot show. Pardon the pun. That's right.
Yeah.
But I remember going there and just seeing so many people, and we had a big room with a big balcony on it, like, you know, 12 floors up, looking down at the stage and the people. And I remember the day that we were playing, I think it was Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver, Newgrass Revival, and the Lonesome River Band. Those were the three acts for that day. And I remember sitting on the balcony, and I called my mother and father, and I said, "You're never going to guess where we are. You're never going to guess who we're playing with." And I thought it was the most amazing thing to be on a show with Doyle and Newgrass, you know, and it was that was an amazing feeling for me. I thought it was great.
Dan, if you weren't doing music, what might you be doing for a living?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would probably be a foosball bum. I spent several years before I moved to the South and actually started playing music for a living. I played foosball, table soccer, for those who don't know what it is. It was kind of a hobby, but it was also kind of the way I made, you know, what little meager money I made playing foosball. There were a few of us that, a couple in particular, that would play, oh gosh, 7 days a week, 6, 8, or 10 hours a day. We played every day, all day long, until my hands were calloused and my muscles were sore, and that's all I did. So I really had a passion for that game up until I joined. It's been now, you know, 10, 12 years since I've played competitively, but I really love that. I know it sounds like a ridiculous thing, but I would be playing foosball, or if I had my dream come true, golf. That's my.
Well, I was going to ask you, what do you do in your spare time when you're not picking and singing and taking care of the kids? Is it golf?
For those 4 hours that I have off in a week, it is. No, I shouldn't say that. I'm really. My wife does so much that I can pretty much do whatever I like, but I manage to get out to the golf course a couple times a week.
I wanted to mention Tim's wife, Debbie. I met her a couple of times way back in the 70s, I think. She has been a big help to you in Doobie Shea, right?
Most definitely.
Oh, gosh.
If it wasn't for her, I couldn't do what I do.
Yeah, how could you survive without her?
There's no way. She actually keeps me headed in the right direction when I would be running around in circles.
Are you telling me she tells you where to go?
Pretty much. And you know, to be honest with you, I need that at times in my life, especially maybe twice a day. But she handles all the business work, you know, like the paperwork and just getting permission from everybody. You know, in the music business, when you put out records, that's a whole different ball game. You start dealing with a lot of legalities and getting permission to record songs and making sure everybody's paid, and man, it's pretty hectic. It's all she can do for being her right now. We're going to add more people. We have one more person working in the office, but she pretty much controls the household.
Guys, do you mind if I request a little more music at this point? I know you told me the other day that you are a noodler. And I don't know if I've ever heard the term noodling before, but I guess it's what Dan would pick around the house on a rainy afternoon if he were just killing some time.
Boy, I don't know if you'd want to hear what I played to kill the time. My mother, bless her heart, I made her gray. I know I did, growing up, because my thing was, I never took it upon myself to learn a bunch of different things. Like I don't have a repertoire of, of 200 songs that I could play, all the way through. But I would like learn one lick or one song, and I would play it all day. So for me, noodling, like I would watch TV going, and never stop, and do that, for about an hour or two, watching TV. And finally, my mother would come in and she would say, "For the love of Pete, play a song, please, please, one song, just one. I'm begging you, please." And it was just something that I never, for me, I would sit around.
All right, now you say you didn't have 200 songs. Do you have a couple, 3 noodles you could do right now?
A couple, 3 noodles.
I want the audience to hear some noodling.
Boy, you just heard it. It would be terribly boring, and I would. If you need to go to the bathroom, now's your time.
The original boring guy.
It's really kind of really stupid now that I think about it. But for me, when I practice at home, I don't necessarily play a lot of songs all the way through. I'll find something that I think is either interesting, or sometimes it'll just be something that seems really difficult, and I'll just do it over and over again.
Yeah.
I couldn't possibly, sit and really,
No problem.
really give the full example, but I would play one lick until I thought I could do it, 20 or 30 times in a row, exactly the same, the way I wanted to hear it. And if I went, if I hit a bad string or something like that, start over. And just keep, just doing that. It helps your right hand to...
So noodling could be the theme from the Andy Griffith Show to the Beverly Hillbillies, to everything like that, huh?
Of course.
Anything musical.
Anything musical, yeah. I mean, I'll sit and probably tap as much as I'll play.
Well, I got a good story about him noodling. We were in the studio about a week or two ago, and we were working on his new album. And Jim Mills, the banjo player from Ricky Skaggs' band, was there, and he comes in the control room, and I said, "Well, what are we going to do next?" And he says, "Well, we're going to do an instrumental." And I said, "Well, no, we don't have an instrumental on the thing. That's not." He said, "Well, Dan's writing it now." So everybody literally came into the control room while he finally figured out what he wanted to do, and then they all learned the song right there, and we cut it. So that was a song actually written and recorded within an hour.
We should call that the Noodle Song.
You should.
I've been looking for a title, the Noodle Song.
You ought to take advantage of this noodling thing. Because we have enlightened the audience of Franklin County who have never heard of noodling, and I haven't heard it called that. All right, well, I tell you, let's go ahead here and do my second segment of Chuckles and Groaners.
I'm interested to hear them. I've got a couple myself.
All right, good. Now, kids teach you to think fast with questions they ask, and here might be the questions. But how does the sperm get together with the egg? Now, this actually happened to me.
It's happening to me
Back
right now.
when we lived in Annandale, Virginia, up in Fairfax County, we had gotten in from work, and I think Katie, my bride, was getting dinner, and I, for some reason, was shaving. It was 5 or 6 in the evening. I was shaving. And John and Tom, the 2 sons, came to the bathroom door, and they asked me that question, not particularly that way. And I said, "Well, guys," and I didn't even cut myself. I said, "I tell you what, your mother just almost has dinner ready. Let's have dinner, and then we'll talk about your question." They said, "Okay." So after we finished eating, we still sat at the table, and we explained to them the answer to their question: how does the sperm get with the egg? And I'll never forget John, who's now 42, I believe. his question was, or his statement was, "Hey, Dad, it's just like putting gasoline in a car." So anyway, that was it. All right, questions kids ask.
Okay.
Questions. Then why don't you send my dinner to a starving child?
I've heard that
Haven't we
recently.
all said that one?
Yeah.
Another question kid would ask, well, where does my mind go when I'm sleeping? All right, now, how to end an argument with a kid? Would you like me to stop the car and let you out right here? If your friends jumped off of a cliff, would you jump off one too?
Yeah.
And finally, a good way to end an argument with a kid is, because I said so.
That's my favorite.
Now, just a few more great things about kids. Kids are the best possible excuse for quitting smoking. They think mutts are just as good as pedigreed dogs. They like pressing down on the string so you can make a knot on a package. Gee, we've all done these things.
Mm-hmm.
They admire your rock skipping ability. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
You're going through it now, you too. The mere sight of a rabbit on the lawn makes their day. We're just simply talking about great things about kids, and we hope we're bringing back some memories with you parents. Take a child on a hike and you don't have to walk fast.
Or far.
Right? And play your cards right and they'll send you to a good nursing home. Now here's one you have to think about. Kids smell great, at least for the first few years. Well, at least some of the time.
That's right.
Now, we were talking about phones a little bit earlier. They won't fight you for the phone until they're 6. Great things about kids, it's an excuse to hang a tire in a tree. I don't see that very often anymore. Claiming your kid is sick gets you out of many social obligations.
Yep.
And a few more here. Kids give you something to talk about with your in-laws. Kids don't care if the house is a mess. Isn't that wonderful?
I think they do care if the house is a mess, and they go out of their way to make it a mess. I think they enjoy the mess myself.
All right. If your dinner party is dull, you can always go check on the baby. They have no inhibitions when it comes to dancing. Even when you're mad at them, you still want to kiss them goodnight.
You bet.
And our final good thing about kids, you don't have to teach them the facts of life. They learn it all on the bus.
That's exactly right.
Just some good things about kids. Wanted to pass that along. That will be in honor of all you parents, and to Tim and Debbie and Elisa and Dan and all of their children. And that's our second Chuckle and Groaner segment of this show.
That's a good
Hey
one.
guys, we're just about, according to the old clock on the wall, you've heard that statement, we're just about ready to get out of here, but could you give us one more little informal tune of some kind?
We could, if you wouldn't mind switching with me. I'm going to try a song that
Sure.
I'm going to try a song that I'm going to do on
On the album?
the
Solo
album. I'm going to have to find my pick first. If I don't have my
Solo
pick, I
album
can't
being
play it.
recorded over in Boone's Mill at Doobie Shea Records,
Yep, Debbie Shea Records.
owned and operated by the inimitable Tim Austin and his wonderful wife, Debbie.